As the temperatures are rising, we're starting to do more walks in the evening. So this evening we've come to Portals Nous, a place where we used to live, and across the road from where we're starting is actually the opera, a pizzeria that we used to frequent almost every Friday night. I think we used to end up down at the opera, and not just us but a lot of other people were there with us who we knew, and we used to have great times there. We're going to have a little walk around and show you a little bit of Portals now. So it's coming up to, well, it is just after 8 o'clock in the evening. So over the years, one thing that's happened is that there's a walkway here. This didn't exist when we first came to the island. And the opera wasn't the opera when we first came to Portals. When we first came, it was a cafe, and we both remember going there many years ago.
I can't remember what it was called though.
No. And then Catherine and Javier took it over and it became the opera, a very successful pizzeria. Sadly, Catherine passed away. Javier continued for a while, and he's now sold it on. So we're just coming past, things are closed up now because it's evening time, but we're coming past Compass, which is the ferreteria, the ironmonger. If you want a nail or a screw or a Jubilee clip, that's where you go. Fantastic place. Hard to recognise what places are now. This used to be the Universal Bookshop. So this was where Anita would come to buy her books and to meet Kay, who was running it. But not just for that, for knitting as well. Kay was a keen knitter and part of the knitting group. In fact, a founder of the knitting group. She decided it was time to give up, and has since returned to the UK. So quite a sad loss, really. It was always good to have an English bookshop on your doorstep.
Used to be run by our neighbours, didn't it? Jeff and Trixie. Is that right?
Yeah, and then
is that right?
Stella as well.
Yes,
Stella and John had it for a while. Across the road is one of our favourite places, particularly for breakfast. We like to go to Chamelli's for breakfast, and well, we haven't been there for a while, so maybe that's something we should be looking to do. Just cross over here, see if we don't get run over. We're not going to call into Chamelli's this evening. And this is the square. I'm sure we're going to come back through the square, but tell you about things that go on in there. New restaurant is called Rude. That's relatively new. It's been a lot of different things. Was our bank for a time. La Caixa Bank used to be there. And the Secret Garden across the road. When we first came there, it was the Black and White restaurant, and it was then called the Red Bar at one time, wasn't it? Which was owned by Julian Lennon, John Lennon's son. And then various other people have taken it over. Now it's called the Secret Garden. We did have fish and chips there, wasn't it?
We did, yeah.
We did, really enjoyed the fish and chips there. It was really good.
We came to a Christmas fair there.
It was a charity fair, wasn't it? Was it for cancer?
Yes,
Anyway, we have been there. We're just going to make our way down this road because this takes us to the church, and from the church we get a lovely view out over to the beach. So I was saying that the temperatures are getting a bit warm now. It's still only May. It's the 28th of May, and temperatures in the day are really getting close to 30 degrees. The sun's really powerful, and so we avoid as much as we can going out. It's not me, it wasn't me, I promise you. Shall we walk on the other side and be in the shade? Well, we'll be in the shade here actually. We're okay. The sun is still up, so we're still seeking the shade, as it were. But another reason for making the video is actually for some friends of ours who live in Leek, Staffordshire Moorlands, Barbara and Martin, who watch lots of our videos, and they haven't been here for ages, so Just wanted to show you, Barbara and Martin, a little bit of Portals Nous and places you will obviously remember. So we're just going to walk down to the church so we can see the beach, because we know that was one of your favourite places to come, and hopefully you'll be able to come and see us at some point.
Hope so. We'll come and see you as well.
Yeah, we'll come over to Leek. We met somebody from Leek last week, didn't we?
Yeah.
What a coincidence. Walking along the front in Palmanova. We're just walking past a school. This is now called King Richard III School. It used to be an American school, so it used to be ASM, the American School of Mallorca, and then they changed the name to AIS, the American International School, and then it was taken over by a Scottish man, and it became King Richard III School.
This is closed office road.
So yeah, we've been doing lots and lots of road work. I think it was like this last time I came. So there used to be a path that walked along there, and you could walk along. That's not looking very good at the moment, but so the work's getting done. But, not very nice to have it being done at this time of the year. Just walk around the back here. And this, when we first used to live here, this was a little red ash area, and just for kids to play on. And it's now been properly turned into a little sports place for the youngsters to play. So they've got the basketball and the five-side football, and then there are some other little rooms over there, which I was told were being used by third age. Someone told me. Don't know if they're being used for anything else. And I think there's just the other side, there is a little park, and I used to take the children to the park. I remember taking, I guess it was Adam really, Serena, I can't remember.
Adam learned to ride his bike around.
Used to take one of them, both of them, down to the park to play on the swings. But we're actually going to go into the grounds of the church now. Never used to be a gate on here, but there's a gate now. And you used to actually be able to park in the grounds of the church, so something's changed. There's a lock on this gate, isn't it? They don't lock us in.
Used to be a restaurant here as well.
Yeah, and that's had various owners over the years.
The Oratorio.
The Oratorio, yeah. It used to be owned by, was it Stephen Yolanda?
It was, yes.
Stephen Yolanda, and the last door on the right here, you could go in there, that brown door over there, and that was like the restaurant. And then if the weather was fine, you could come and sit out on the terrace. And then they left, and I think Steve was well, and it was taken over by someone else, and they had a lovely restaurant here with lots of tables on the terrace. Really nice place to come, but obviously something didn't quite work for them, so they went. This is the church's car park, so the restaurant used to be able to use the church's car park. Now it's abandoned, I suppose. So we're coming to the beach. We will be quite high above it, and the church, of course. It's a lovely little church. There's no one in, yes, they've got all the ribbons. We were in a restaurant today. We were in Maison Sans Calieu, and there was a wedding party going on in there.
Surprised there's nobody here.
This is the outside altar, where during the COVID restrictions, all the masses were held outside, and I guess maybe they still are. It's what a beautiful place to hold a church service, if that's your thing. Ah, look, that's new. I don't remember seeing the ramp before. I was here a few weeks ago. That ramp I'm sure wasn't there. I would have noticed that. But hey, that's really good, so people can get down to see this wonderful view. To the right we've got Portals. There's a bit of a breeze blowing, so you're going to hear that. But we're going to look right down onto the beach. It's 8:10 in the evening. There's still people on the beach. There's even one little lad in the sea paddling away. And then just to the left we've got this bar that sets up periodically and occasionally gets fined. They have been fined during the COVID period and before that for misdemeanors, but you can come and buy a boat and just pull it up and have a drink there. So that's really quite good. And on the beach there is also a little chiringuito, a little thing that sells drinks. There's two flags. One of them is green, which is saying the sea is safe. The other one is orange, which I learned today, which says there is no lifeguard on duty at the moment. He's gone home for his dinner. So you swim at your own risk. And just out there there's a couple of very swish boats. I think I'm going to get my other camera out and take a closer look. It's getting to that time of the year when the big boats come out, and some of them are really quite swish. So let's just take a closer look here. One of the boats that's just moored off Portals. It's just sort of a greyish colour, silver grey. Quite see the flag, but it looks a bit like a red ensign. It's got something else down the bottom there. But looks really cool in the water. The one next to it is almost twice the size. It is much bigger. Take a look at the rear. We can see perhaps the flag on this one. It's a similar flag.
We're staying in STP for a while as well.
Again, you can't quite see the name. With the sun at this angle, it actually looks really cool in the sea there, with the other boat just almost alongside. Well, here we can just have a look down at the bar down there, and the boats, and people already having a drink, cocktails perhaps. So we're leaving the beach, the island and the port behind us, and we're just going to head back towards the village. And some water, but it's not drinking water, it's just recycled water, so don't be tempted to drink that. It looks a rather disgusting colour, so I don't think you'd want to drink it. Looks as though they actually try and gate this off. It's always been, the church has always been kept very open, and I suppose modern times have meant that they do have gates now. And we tried to go to one church in Palma, and they were charging an entrance. I don't know, it seems wrong to me. I don't mind making donations, I'm quite happy to do that. But to charge someone to go into a church, what if you actually just want to go in to pray? I mean, we're sightseers, we're not going to go to pray, so yeah, maybe we should pay. But someone who believes and wants to do that, surely you can't make them pay. So we're just going to make our way back up to the village. I'll turn the video off now because you don't want to see all the bins, do you? These are the rubbish bins, but they are emptied every day, so it's a good point to have on. And you can see we've got all these different colour ones now. We've got the green ones, the blue ones, the yellow ones, the grey ones. So the green is glass, the blue is paper, cartons, the yellow for containers and plastics, and the grey ones for other rubbish. So there's my environmental bit. I'm going to turn the camera off now until we get a bit further up the road. So because we used to live in the village, we lived here for about 13 years, I think. We obviously knew a lot of people who lived here also, and still very friendly with quite a few of them. So on the left we have the Catty block, and Jill and Jose and Barbara live there. And Jeannie and Jamie used to live there. So friends who I'm still friendly with today. Joan Rushton, sadly no longer with us. And we're at the back. At the back of the supermarket Sidon, and so you can park there and do your shopping. And we still tend to use it fairly regularly, actually, even though we don't live in the village anymore. We've known the proprietors for such a long time. We just feel Thomas and Lolly and Concha, and so we've been coming and going back to it on a regular basis. And then the house just front to the right is where we actually used to live. Still got the lemon trees in the back. It's changed a lot since we lived there. We rented it from someone who lived in England, and they decided they wanted to have the house back, so we had to move out, which is when we moved up to Genova. The road down to the left takes you to the beach we've just been looking at. We'll go up into the village, shall we? Oh, you want to? Anita wants to walk a little bit further just to say hello. So neighbours from all those years ago. So Leslie was one of our neighbours from when we used to live in the house just in front to the right there. And Jorge, yeah, had the garage. So we knew them for many, many years when we lived here. We saw them buy that original house and do it all up, and remember when he got those telegraph poles and then turned them into his fence. I thought that was a great idea. So the house across the road where we used to live has changed a lot. We rented the ground floor, and I'm not sure whether it's one house or two sets of apartments. And then when we first came to the island, this car park and this block, it wasn't here. So when we lived in that house, this was a piece of spare ground. It was just rough ground, and then they came to do all the work on it. And this was originally a restaurant called Los Molinos, and then it changed to Paco's, and it's now changed again. Paco retired during COVID, really, and now it's called Pequi. So we've not actually tried it yet. Another one on our to-do lists. We've got such a long to-do list. I don't think we need to retire. So maybe we can get some of these things done. And then across the road, new restaurant, which is called Frankie's. That used to be
Flintstones.
Flintstones, yeah. Lots of memories. I'm sure Martin's got an interesting memory or two of the Flintstones. I know I have. And again, we've got this walkway which didn't exist when we first came to the island, and this road was not such a good road. And Pharmacia was probably there.
It was so surreal to be wading there.
But this block has been lots of things, and part and parcel of it for us. I showed you Rude Bar at the beginning of the video. Rude Bar was where our bank was originally, and then they moved here. The last time I came to the bank, you don't go to banks very often these days, do you? But the last time I went to the bank, this was our bank, and it's not there anymore. They've moved. Banks have been amalgamating in Spain, and La Caixa is sort of swallowing up other banks, so it's swallowed up Bankia, which is across the road, and that's where they've moved to. Perhaps a better situation, I don't know. And this is a little supermarket again. I've never been in that one. That used to be Banca Mark, which has now moved across the road as well. But we're coming just to the ship, which has had lots of names in the past, but it's now called the ship. This is where Anita comes with her knitting ladies.
We're all getting ready for the night.
On a Wednesday morning. And a place where you can come and you can eat and drink, and I think what most people are in there for at the moment is to watch football, because there's a big match on tonight. It's Liverpool and Real Madrid, two of the biggest teams in Europe, or probably the two biggest teams in Europe now, going head to head in Paris. And this is Multimarine. I mentioned Jose earlier on when we were talking about the Catty block. That's his business there. He's a yacht chandler. And then just down the road, it used to be Continental when we lived here, and Continental was owned by Manolo, and Manolo now has Cana Joana, which is in Canova. So we go there regularly, and we still see Manolo. Someone asked me, Mary I think, was asking me about hotels in Portals Nous. This is the Marina Portals. It's quite a nice hotel. I think it's a 4-star hotel, just above Puerto Portals. So if you went out of the bottom gate from here, you'd more or less be in Puerto Portals, or you can walk down the walkway here, and you're very quickly in Puerto Portals. We're not going to go that far because Anita desperately wants to go and watch the football match, don't you, dear? Across the road, various little shops and offices and things. Iscar there used to be Delsey's rent-a-car, and Delsey, well, the shop's gone completely now, and something else has taken it over. We've got a steakhouse, Moo.
It's supposed to be very good though. Never been there.
And Max from Palmanova had a restaurant here. What was that called?
Max's.
Max's. Was it called Max's?
I don't know. Maybe.
We used to go there quite regularly. Had fantastic food. Now he's in Palmanova. And then we've also got an Indian, Taj Mahal. Have we been there? We have been there. Yeah. Then there's another pizzeria, Vivaldi. Oh, so Delsey's is still there, and it's up for sale. So Delciana herself died quite a few years ago. Her daughter died tragically many years ago, 36 years ago, in a car crash. And Leon, who was running the business, he sadly passed away recently. So the shop is now empty. I don't know who owns it now then. one of the Italians that's everywhere now is this one here called Il Tano, and there's a couple of them we've been to in Palmanova, and there's one here in Portals Nous village. Tobaccos across the road. A few years ago, an open top Bentley crashed into that, and the driver ran away. Eventually paid the people who own it, and there were no prosecutions.
Characters still here.
Just above here, charactersmodels.com. If you fancy yourself as a model, Characters the place to go in Portals, and all of our children have actually done modelling, probably for Characters.
You have one.
Pardon?
You have one.
Yeah, me too. I wasn't modelling clothes though. I used to do advertisements for them on there, and they used to film them, put them on TV many years ago. Just as a clue as to how long ago, one of them was for Kodak films. It's a long time since anybody's used a film. So we're just coming back to the square, so we've just done a little bit of a circular tour, and the square of any village is the centre, and so around January the 17th, San Antonio, they have a bonfire right in the middle of that square. Well, at least they used to. Trees are getting a bit big there, so I don't know if they've done one recently, but they used to be really fantastic affairs. So they'd have a bonfire in the middle, and you'd bring your grill, and you wouldn't have to bring the sausage. The supermarket used to provide the sausages, and you cook your food. Sidon, fantastic family-run business. We come here particularly to buy wine. And shop next door used to be the tobacconist. Now it's just a paper shop, and owned by the same family. But when we had the San Antonio fiestas, they used to provide free cigarettes. Oh dear, dear, dear. I'm not sure I agree with that. And there's another white block, which is a relatively new block across the road, with some shops in there. Well, yeah, shops and offices. And we're back to Chamelli's. Always busy, always very good. Just going to cross over. We'll be back to more or less where we started. So this is where Banca Marca's now reappeared. It used to be a different bank before. It's all changed. So hope you've enjoyed our little tour of Portals Nous. It's where we used to live, it's where we know, and a place we will always be coming back to.
Blessings especially for Barbara and Martin.
Thank you very much for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye bye.